The kind of love you never get enough of. That's what I have for you. So when you need good love, then you can call on me, and I'll be there to feel your every need. I could nobody, no one's gonna love. I could nobody. And after that, you never really felt love. At least not like mine. Ooh, boy, nobody else could ever love you better. Keep you satisfied. Give my love a try. I can love you better. No one's gonna love I can love No one's gonna love I can love you better. No one's gonna love I can love Baby, you're better.
Yes, y'all. Peace, 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 people. Oh, wow. I knew it was going to happen one day that Tariq Nasheed was going to be called out as a hate group or cult or both. And apparently, because of a article, I don't know if it's a Democratic shill, whatever. But this Texas male is claiming Tariq Nasheed and FBA are promoting African diaspora violence for reparations. And I knew that I knew that this was eventually going to happen. That's why I'm telling everybody that's listening to me, go declare your own identity. Let FBA only be an identity on social media. Use not very much, but just in general. Okay. Go get your declaration of identity declared, notary signed, submit it to the Black Caucus, get a return mail, certified mail, so that you have proof that it was submitted. Keep a file. Again, it's important for us to claim our own identity. I feel that we should be rushing certain offices with calls, faxes, letters about our identity and the desire to have a distinct identity separate from immigrants that are coming here, because we're now seeing what has been transpiring. So that's my opinion. We're going to go through Tariq's response back to the article, which he didn't really say too much, but it's telling that it's gonna get worse before it could ever get better, and that's just the way it's gonna go. So, in our minds, many people are thinking that we have such a identity crisis and we're confused, and this confusion is brought on with different debates, different talking points, different ideologies and whatnot. Instead of just sticking to just being American, making things very simple, declaring what you want to identify yourself as being, people want to make mention mainly many Africans that are Western Africans and also Pan-Africans about our identity, and they argue with us about us being African. They're trying to Africanize us. So later on, I'm going to show a clip of a so-called FBA. He's a younger guy, kind of slow a little bit, kind of emotional a little bit, but he wanted to let Kandala and other Africans know on Kanzarian Empire's platform that we should have a distinct identity. And they were trying to, trick him into claiming African. So it was kind of interesting, and I want to showcase that. I was going to do that yesterday, but I lost track of time. Also, I want to make a correction for yesterday's live. I had made mention that JT, the bigger figure, was raising money for Kenya moms and babies, supposedly trying to raise $25,000. And when I had checked to see what a number that he had, I accidentally went on an older web or older YouTube page that had an old link, and it said 85,000. So one time he did raise 85,000, but not recent. So actually, only about 3 or 4 people have so far donated since the last time I checked, which I think that people just don't want to do all of that right now. But anyways, it's not the same link. He did not raise $85,000. He's looking to raise 25,000. He's nowhere near it. I don't think he will get it, just because people are exhausted with us being asked for monies over and over and over and over and over again. And I think people are running out of patience with that now. At least it appears to be that way. Let me see what you guys are saying before I start. Thank you for the time. Alexis, you said, I never represented myself as FBA for their Islamophobic rhetoric, slander, and immaturity. I'm a Black American as far as I know. Yes, but because other people from other places are claiming Black American because they've been here for a few decades or so. If you only know America and you don't have, say, for instance, Jamaica as your grandparents came from there, or your mom or dad came from there, and you have no other relatives anywhere other than in America, we are different from people that have come here the last 20, 40, a lot of years. We've been here for 500 years plus. So I would recommend putting Native Black American or Indigenous Black American or something to that effect as a declaration. There are a lot of people that are Pan-Africans and Africans that are trying to force us into being Africanized. And I only feel comfortable when I make my claim to fame or my claim to what I want to be named, and get some legal work behind it for my own peace of mind, I guess you could say. So me notary signing in my right frame of mind, if ever I wake up and someone tries to impose another name on our group, we can have some way of trying to fight that, especially if you made mention, if all of us piled on and made mention to different entities in the government what we want to call ourselves, then it's going to be obvious that they should not be trying to pull a name switch on us, because this is what they keep doing, is switching our names and changing our names against our will. And I am not having it this go around. So this is why I recommend notary signing and getting a declaration of your own identity for your own personal self and family. Because if Tariq Nasheed gets caught up in some type of scandal, or he's targeted and tarred as being a hate group, FBA, I don't want no association with FBA. I don't want my name dragged into it. So I do these videos as protection as well, to showcase if anyone tries to say I'm an FBA, I can pull and retrieve a video saying I am not FBA. I'm Indigenous Black American. I've declared my own identity in 2021. Fuck out of here. And I just suggest that you guys do that as well for your own protection. You said FBA is only used on the internet, on the ground. Black Americans don't even know what that is. Yes, a lot of them don't know. So this is what I mean about the fact that people know that Black Americans primarily are considered FBA. It doesn't matter if you're not taking on the name, people still will have a target more on our back based on what Tariq Nasheed has done and what he's doing and how he's talking, and how people are feeling some kind of way about us as a collective because we are associated with him due to the fact that we're all Indigenous Black Americans. So we still have to hold the stain of what he is doing, but I just don't want a direct link to him, in my opinion. You said FBA will call anybody a tether who they don't like, even though they are Black Americans. Yeah, they're just using it, just loosely. And it's looking like it is just kind of reckless right now. Before I get going with the main show, I wanted to show an old clipping of the Twilight Zone. I don't know if you guys remember this one called Nick of Time, where a guy was talking to a machine to get answers about his life. And he kind of went kind of crazy for a second there. We have a lot of questions about who we want to be, what we want to do, how society views us, how we're being targeted and hated, how people are calling us Islamophobic if we have an opinion about anything. So we are kind of confused on how to be because of all the scapegoating and gaslighting. And so I'm trying to bring to mind how easy and gullible a lot of us can be with anything to influence us. And I just hope that we will have a different mindset moving forward about what you think on, how you want to represent yourself, and how you want to manifest and declare your destiny as far as how you want to move and maneuver moving forward. Let's look at this old clip, though. This is kind of funny right here.
Will it still take 4 hours before the car is ready? Hey, it has already been taken care of.
Well, let's go then.
Or are you afraid? All right. We'll reach Columbus by tomorrow. We're not going through it. If that's what you really want. Will I ever be married? The answer to that is obvious. It's not possible to foretell the future, is it? That's up to you to find out. You're just a stupid piece of junk, aren't you? It all depends upon your point of view. I don't want to stay here anymore, Don. Even if it's true? Especially if it's true. What are you talking about? I think you are afraid. Not of it. Of what then? Don't you know? Are we always going to live in St. Louis? Are we going to live in the East? Are we going to live in the West? Are we going to live in this country? Don. What? Let's go. No. Are you just going to stay here? I don't know. Sweetheart, listen to me. Please, if you love me, just listen to me. No, you listen to me. This machine is predicting our future. Do you think I could just walk away from it? I'm not talking about that machine anymore. I'm talking about you. Are you just going to sit here and let that thing run your life? Run my life? Run my life? Isn't that exactly what you're letting it do? God, it made you hold the office before. It made you stay here instead of leave. It made you afraid to walk down the street. And now it's telling you where you're going to live.
That reminds me of a lot of lost souls on YouTube, people that are talking to different types of people. This medium called, social media is being used to influence us, whether we like it or not, sometimes for the worse, though. Collectively, other groups of people use social media and it uplifts them, it benefits them, it prepares them. People are prepping. By the way, y'all should be prepping. Iran did some military action against Israel recently, and United States might be pulled into that mess, and we don't know what's going to happen moving forward. But I would suggest that we prep. If you have not been prepping, I don't know where you've been, but at least 2 to 3 months worth of food and supplies you should have. Focus on water, toilet paper, medicines, pain relievers, Oragel, different canned goods and whatnot, just in case things happen kind of jacked up. We never know when things are just going to flip on its head. And it's better to be prepared than not be prepared. So I'm just putting that out in the atmosphere to kind of like think about where we are right now and how things are looking and feeling. And it's not a pretty thing right now, what's going on. Now, yes, let's get to the article of Tariq Nasheed. I try to look up to see if I could find this article myself, and I had a hard time finding it. I don't know how this YouTuber by the name of News Totter was able to find it, but he managed to find it. And he's going to read what it states, what it stated. And I just want you guys to understand that more of this is coming when it comes to FBA. That's why I feel we should break away from calling ourselves, well, I don't call myself that, but anyone that's calling themselves FBA or ADOS, maybe you should reconsider. But just listen to this.
in just a second. Do me a favor and go ahead and share out the actual space. Go ahead and share out the actual space as well as go.
Okay, let me read this first. Everybody knew this would happen, Big Cap said. Considering how consistent he is on reparations and claiming FBA is also triggering peeps because they can't put all Black in one group. Well, yeah, I feel like he's covered the topic about reparations. He's doing rallies. It's really no point to keep hurling insults as he does, but that's just a mechanism I think he uses to control his flock of people from anything that's negative towards him. He deflects and talks about tethers. He deflects and talks about jokes and, cheetahs peeing and whatnot. And it was cute at first for maybe the first 6 months or so. And then after that, I was kind of over it. But yeah, he's triggering people on purpose, and he is going to be the scapegoat for a lot of stuff. Let's go.
Ahead and my people on X, y'all go ahead and share out the broadcast as well too. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing rolling, guys.
Okay, he's taking forever. Let me fast forward just a little smidgen.
By FBA members, encouraging them to.
Okay, here we go.
The founder's words. They can start to jump in. What's up, Professor? What's up, everybody coming up in the space? Like I said, I've never seen this website before that I could think of. It's called the TexasMail.com. I'm gonna read this article. It says Tariq Nasheed faces criticism for promoting African diaspora violence and the Black community for reparations. In the realm of race discourse, Tariq Nasheed stands as a polarizing figure known for his controversial commentary and advocacy for the group he founded, Foundational Black Americans. You're talking about he founded the group. Nasheed's ideologies and rhetoric have sparked debates, shedding light on the intricate dynamics between advocacy, extremism, and division within the Black community. In a chilling online video testimonial, the founder of the pseudo-cult online group, Tariq Nasheed, has been captured advocating for harm against Black people in the name of reparation. The founder's words, which reflect a disturbing mindset of aggression and discord, serve as a stark reminder of the dangers posed by extremist ideologies within seemingly noble movements. So that the article's already telling you that Tariq Nasheed is the actual founder of FBA as well too. So they're going to make sure they hone that in. They're going to make sure they go ahead and hone that in. So one of the lines uttered by Tariq Nasheed stands out for this promotion of violence, and it is, "We warn folks, hey man, you better get them before we get them." This ominous statement not only hints at the readiness to take matters into their own hands, but is a call for intra-community fear and intimidation in the Black community. Furthermore, declarations such as "get your people" serve as a direct call to action that implies potential escalation towards violent retaliation if the perceived threats are not dealt with. This language of retribution and aggression underscores the founder's willingness to resort to extreme measures to pursue their agenda. The founder's rhetoric, as exposed in the investigative report, reveals a troubling pattern of using violence as a tool to advance their divisive and hateful ideologies under the guise of pro-reparation movement. By manipulating the genuine cause of seeking justice, Tariq Nasheed and their followers have blurred the lines between advocacy, extremism, and endangering the very community they claim to represent. Many believe this is part of a larger PSYOP movement to target and further divide the Black community. At the core of Nasheed's advocacy lies the concept of FBA, Foundational Black American, asserting that individuals tracing their lineage to the American slavery should actively pursue reparations and resources for themselves. They are hosting a rally in Washington, D.C. in June 2024 to talk about their ideas. However, the danger is Tariq, who also assigns blame to members of the African diaspora for the suffering and pain experienced by FBA members, encouraging them to stand in opposition to Black people originating from the Caribbean, Latin America, and the African continent. He perceives them as a threat to the FBA community and the entitlement to reparations. Tariq, who also made appearances on notable platforms such as The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Late Night with Conan O'Brien, MTV, and The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God, BET is known for his extensive and contentious advocacy with a pronounced anti-Black dimension. He categorizes all Black non-FBA members as tethers, insinuating that they are stealing the resources that belong to the FBA cult members, despite Black immigrants only being a small percentage of the Black American community. The irony in Nasheed's discourse is he is also categorized by the use of derogatory terms such as bed wench and Negro bed wench mentality to criticize African American women, some who belong to FBA, despite his involvement in interracial relationships. So they're taking a personal shot at the man and his family and his wife. He criticizes these women for engaging in similar relationships by resurrecting and popularizing such historical misogynistic terms. Nasheed perpetuates harmful stereotypes originally propagated by white supremacy patriarchy. Furthermore, Nasheed has a prolonged track record of targeting Black men who publicly disagree with him or raise questions about the public funds he collected to build a museum for the FBA community. Despite often portraying himself as a champion against white supremacy, Nasheed constantly exacerbates divisions within the Black community by launching attacks against Black men, Black women, Black members of the LGBT community, Black immigrants, and Black descent of South and Central America who identify as Afro-Latino. While Nasheed's advocacy for reparations and focus on systematic issues may find support among certain factions, his divisive rhetoric targeting the African diaspora and advocacy for the intra-communal violence have faced significant backlash. Reparations have long been a cause championed by many within the Black community, yet Nasheed's approach of inciting further division within the community, promoting tension and violence among the African diaspora in America is viewed by critics as counterproductive and dangerous. It highlights the nuanced nature of advocacy where genuine grievances must be addressed without exacerbating the discord within the communities. So like I say, it's a hell of a lot to unpack in that article right there.
Again, I don't know how he found it. It was an online article. Nonetheless, it's the beginning of others to come. And Tariq Nasheed does have a response back to that. I just feel like he has so much that he can do versus what he's doing. He has over, let me see, look him up. I think he has over 300,000 or 200,000, 233,000 subscribers. Of course, not all of them are Indigenous Black Americans. Nonetheless, he could tell his subscribers to flood different organizations or entities of the government that hold office for Black Americans, that they're supposed to be doing something, like Barbara Lee. There's another lady that I feel we should also contact. What's her name? And I think I'm going to write another letter. For those that know of my other channel, I had already written to the Black Caucus before and to a district attorney before a couple of years ago. But I really feel like the representative of Barbara Lee and also Congresswoman, what is her name?
So it was a really very difficult.
Barbara Lee, and there's another one. What's the other one's name, Lord? Oh, Mayor Karen Bass. They have a lot of influence and they've been in office for a very, very long time. And they need to explain or justify all the things that they have allowed to have happen and forgetting about us. Just imagine if he used 10 to 20,000 of his subscribers to flood one office one day or the whole week, saturated with calls, faxes, emails, letters. Don't you know that we would get their attention and they will be forced to address us somehow? We can ask to have a meeting with one of the representatives or have a conference call with one of the representatives to talk about what's going on wrong with this picture as far as not being helped or supported as they're supposed to do. But Tariq Nasheed uses the platform just to enrich him and his family and his products that he sells and his videos and whatnot. And that's all he ever does. And that's why you know that he is not truly the right guy to be following, in my opinion. That's my opinion. That's why I say don't link up with FBA so hard, because of that hate group aspect. The FBI could classify FBA as a hate group. Now let's listen to what his response back is, Tariq Nasheed. By the way, fair use of all videos for educational purposes, for reality checks realized and lies denied, also for observation, research, education under 107 of the Copyright Act of the 1979 of the fair use. Let's go.
Articles by Democratic shills pop up. And this is common, and people are just, people, they know what it is. There's this Democratic tether shill. He's a Haitian dude. I can't even pronounce his name, but that's insignificant. But this is one of these Democratic shills, and he basically got some fake news website thing, some that the white DNC done put together. They done put together a couple of fake news sites to try to get some kind of fake media credentials, and they wrote a slanderous article about me, talking about me and Foundational Black Americans are pushing violence towards immigrants. They're talking about we're advocating violence towards immigrants. Now, we all know that's a lie, and this Tether is a damn minister. So for him to tell a bald-faced lie like that, that's indicative of that scamming, low-life, cutthroat, deceptive Tether mindset that causes their homelands to be in shambles where they have to flee. So we're kind of used to that, but just the irony of it, because they're trying to project this narrative that we are being violent towards them. We're not being violent to no damn Tethers. The violence is coming from the Tethers. The violence is coming from them. Family, did y'all see? I posted a video the other day, and several people have called the broadcast talking about the medical industry and how they got these Tethers who work in the medical industry who are always harming foundational Black American patients. We see that all the time. I posted a video somewhere up there, and I think it was in New York. It was a mental patient, and he was having a mental breakdown, and the Tether nurses looked like they punched on him and beat the guy down, bloodied the guy up. And it was a bunch of damn Tether.
Again, it's good to tell this news, to understand that using a block or blanketed Black as the identity for people to claim, a crime. Oh, this Black individual, this Black man stole this person. It ends up being a Haitian immigrant, or it happens to be someone that's on a visa, and they're just described as being Black. I understand that we need to, again, delineate so that we can know who was who, but that's not the topic right now. The topic is about him being described as a hate group and an article. And if there's one, there's two, there's three, there's more. And ain't no telling who's been doing what behind the scenes that he's not even aware of. And yet he is trying to deflect real quick and talk about a crime that a so-called Tether or an immigrant has done. But what's that got to do with him being classified as a hate group, or this line of thinking and perception of FBA is now being targeted to be turned into an Islamophobic type of group? That's kind of more serious than what he's letting on right here. This is what I mean. This is someone that I would never want to follow and have faith in. Listen.
The nurses doing it, all of these foreign last names. That's where the violence is. I posted up another story today. There's a serial rapist running around. I want to say, is it Texas? I think he's in Texas. Dude from Zimbabwe, and he's HIV positive, sexually assaulting women left and right. That's where the violence is coming from, the damn Tethers. Speaking of Texas, another Tether. Remember was a Tether who called this girl over and dismembered her, and then he bounced, went back to Nigeria. Where's the violence really coming from? let's be real. Let's be for real, for real. See, this is why we've been delineating from a lot of this nonsense. Because we don't want to be around lying, violent others.
And what I'm saying is, if they call themselves asserting that this is a hate group and it picks up as one, then all our beliefs that's correct to believe will be diluted in meaning because of what he's done said. That's why a number of us should write our own declaration just to cover our bases. In my opinion, don't put everything on him, because people are saying that we only believe the way we believe because of him. Like, no, Indigenous Black Americans are going to believe how we believe because this is our country. We are Americans. We have a lot to lose by having illegal immigrants invading like they have, loss of monies and stuff towards communities that should be assisted, parks and schools and all these other things that are going to be affected behind the monies being dried up, which would affect more or less the Black community. So yes, Indigenous Black Americans are going to speak similar to FBA because we're coming from the same vantage point of view as far as what is going on wrong in America. So again, this is something that I feel like you guys should ponder whether or not to believe in him, because this is going to continue. It's going to continue.
And now you got this guy, Kai Cenat. Now, Kai Cenat is a very popular streamer, and he's popular with a lot of white kids. And he's popular because he does a cosplay of foundational Black Americans. So Kai Cenat did a video talking about Black Americans. We don't really have a culture. We just Black. We're not Trinidadian. You're not Jamaican. You're not Haitian. You're just Black. You ain't got no culture. Whoop-de-whoop. Family. This is ironic because the Kai Cenat guy, his come up is acting like a foundational Black American. He's Haitian and Trinidadian. He doesn't act like a Haitian or a Trinidadian. His whole shtick is cosplaying as a foundational Black American. He dresses like us, uses our slang. You understand? Walks like us, acts like us. You're not acting like the people from the places where your family fled. So, in FBA family, see, we got to start shutting this nonsense down and asking questions. And the question is on the board, and I would like some people from the diaspora to chime in. What in the world is African and Caribbean culture? What is African and Caribbean culture? What exactly is your culture? Because people, we've had some of the trolls and people like that call up and start talking about culture. Every time I ask these people about what their culture is, they get to trolling and dipping out and throwing the table over so they don't have to answer. I want people to tell me what their culture is. What culture do you have that we don't have? Foundational Black Americans, we are the culture here. Everything about American culture is foundational Black American culture. It came from us. Man, our culture is hip-hop music, R&B music, country music, rock music, house music. That's our culture. Our foods, the fried chicken, the barbecuing, the mac and cheese, soul food, that's our culture. Our celebrations, Juneteenth, that's our culture. Aratasase, that's our culture. Family reunions is foundational Black American culture. We started the concept of a family reunion. Do y'all understand that? Other groups weren't doing family reunions. Do we need to go to the technology? My brother Mikhail just hit up. Man, the 50,000 patents that we've achieved and all of the technological advances.
See how he deflects. Like I said, I think it's a lot more serious than what he would like to acknowledge. And what he should have done as a remedy to some of the things and complaints that we have is to submit a declaration and flood different offices of people, representatives, to let them know and feel what we're feeling. But he doesn't need to, because he's making his money and that's all he's concerned about. He's not really concerned about what he can do to really up the ante and whatever. Alexis Fowler says, doing research, many multiracial Blacks and Indigenous people call themselves Afro-Indigenous, Black, Native, Indigenous, and Black. Yes, that's what I said. Some can call themselves Black Native American, or Black Native American. Indigenous Black American is what I prefer to say, because I didn't want people to think that I was like a Native American, like the ones with the stringy hair. That's why I say Indigenous Black Americans, because we were at one point called Black Americans and we still go by that name. Why not put something to distinct yourself from other people and just say Indigenous? That's what I'm saying. You said I never paid attention too much to Tariq until his #1 troll became obsessed with me. Oh yeah. Ain't that the truth? Is he still tripping off of you, Alexis? That fat blubber ball? Charlie Shaw says they don't like FBA because it doesn't allow Pan-Africanism to infiltrate. That's right. There have no violence committed by any FBA, but it has been when that African dude said he hated Blacks and carried it out. Oh yeah, I remember that. I think I talked about that on one of the videos. But yeah, not only that, it's not just FBA. Anyone that's claiming anything else outside of calling themselves African is problematic for all Pan-Africans and West Africans, the ones that are so gung-ho over our identity and what we declare ourselves to be. Those people are going frenzied-wise, crazy on social media about it. So what's up to everybody here? Charlie Shaw, Alexis, Easy X, how you doing? Thank you for coming through. And Four Rivers, GD, thank you for coming through as well. You said, thanks for covering this topic. You warned about this happening and it's coming true. Anyone would target Tariq and FBA, the government, foreign Blacks, ADOS, white folks, Martians, etc. Yeah, I saw this 2 years ago. Gonna happen. I talked about, when I made my declaration back in 2021, one of the reasons is because I couldn't trust him and his rhetoric. And also I felt ADOS wasn't moving progressively enough. And I felt like she's smart enough to pull it off, and she's not. So there's a reason why she's not pulling it off, because she doesn't intend to. Because Yvette Carnell is quite capable. She used to work for the Capitol Hill. There's no excuse for her to be telling us to do certain things that I'm saying. And once I do write another letter, I will read it off online again, like I did my last letter. The first letter I did was over 20 pages, I believe, long, typed. And I also submitted the Declaration of Identity Change to them. It was a copy of it. I kept the originals. I keep all the originals. So whenever you submit something to them, make sure it's a copy and you keep the originals in case you have to go to court or something like that, just to let y'all know. You said, yes, it's important to avoid joining groups. You never know when they'll be listed as a hate criminal, whatever else group. Exactly. So you can say, you relate to the FBA because, again, we come from the same mindset, of course. You just have to be careful labeling yourself that and letting your channel be just about it, in my opinion, because Tariq Nasheed is not doing other things to protect his name, his group. He's not doing enough. Most of the people who say FBA just identify as it and not follow him, even though I don't follow him, and we want to call ourselves that. Calling yourself Indigenous, they call you a pretendian. Indigenous means, in my mind, the formation of America. We were here. We're indigenous to America, irregardless. It wasn't America when supposedly, there were other people here though too. There's more than just what they're painting the picture of the storyline to be. There were copper colored folks here, and they had, hair texture that was different from what they're claiming. There were other people here. They can say pretendian, but they don't know. They weren't here in the beginning of time to say who was where and what was going on. All we know is the formation of America. We were here too, to form America, to build America, to be the monies, even if our lands were stolen. And we have a different story outside of slavery, because it might be a combo of sharecroppers. It could be some that were enslaved, something, or labor, who knows? A lot of different things happen in America other than just from the Africa boat and putting chains and we all African. We don't know who we are. They would like us to believe such a thought. And I don't believe that thought at all. You said, yes, he's right. Indigenous Blacks made the culture here, but no, I don't think Juneteenth was one of them. I don't celebrate Juneteenth. I never really got into it. I know there's a song that they used to sing, but I really never celebrate that. I guess some people celebrate it, but I don't. You said we have to be and think more strategic and not let these things happen and catch us off guard. Think like those that don't like us or oppose us so that we can stay steps ahead. Damn, we look stupid out here. Exactly. That's why if we all, self-declare, just imagine Easy X. If I take a number such as 100,000 of us flooding for a whole month, Barbara Lee's office, Sheila Lee Jackson, or Jackson Lee, whatever her name is, flooding a district attorney's office of your state that you're at, flooding calls, calling in throughout the day, making people go stir crazy. What is going on with these Indigenous Black Americans calling in saying that we are being ignored and we're sick of this? What are y'all doing for us? Representative, do y'all want to be back in office next vote where we're supposed to vote you in? Do you want to stay in office? You need to do something for us ASAP. Something. We're not threatening nobody with our power of the numbers that we could produce and we could utilize to affect the morale of us and the morale of what's going on, the temperament of what's happening. We're not doing anything to make anyone upset about or stir crazy or shook about nothing. No one feels shook. No one is uncomfortable. No one is feeling the pressure with all the different changes that are happening. And we have the numbers to do something. That is the tragedy of it all. That's how you know you don't have the right leaders, because they could apply pressure and they're not. You said, we are the Israelites. Yes, you say that. What are the Israelites doing? How is the Israelites blessing us? What have they done strategically? What have they done as far as being acknowledged and known? It's another one. It's another distraction. We're American. That's the easiest way, Eric, to deal with this situation. You said all this propaganda they are spewing needs to stop. Yup, Charlie Shaw. Did you notice the Nigerian guy you covered the other day said that Black Americans are problematic and African Americans are his people? Oh, yeah. He is someone that needs to be really dealt with. Yeah, he's getting outrageous, talking about we owe Africa reparations, all this other nonsense talk. And he's a Nigerian of all things. What they did and what they still do, they still have women forced into prostitution in UK and whatnot. They still have modern day slavery going on. And some of those people are still partakers of that, but they don't want to talk about none of that though. Let me just reiterate something. I just noticed my videos hardly ever get a comment, y'all. Y'all want to know why that is? I think it's because what I say can't be refuted. It can't be rebuked and rebuffed. People are just not saying nothing, but they feel something. They have to feel something, because why all the silence? Am I correct in my my commentary? Y'all don't want to challenge my commentary? Are y'all scared of me? What's going on? I want to know. I'm just curious why I never get anybody to say anything about my commentary. But you're here watching me. So why not say something sometimes? It's kind of weird. Charlie Shaw says it's what we want to call ourselves. It's not what we want to call ourselves. They'll have a problem with it because we want to delineate. Oh, they just have the problem with the fact that we don't want to be one thing alongside of them, because again, it lessens our voices. It lessens the ability for us to represent ourselves. It lessens the chances for us to have a narrative that is something that we desire to do collectively. When you have other people claiming to be you and they're speaking on Africa, well, they're not talking about the collection of people I represent, the indigenous Black Americans. We're talking about America. So there's a problem with having a narrative that's outside of what we want. And what we want is pertaining to what's going on in front of our faces here where we are. Pan-Africans and other Africans and other Black folks want to talk about Africa, though, instead. Or they want to talk about their homeland instead. They want to talk about Haiti. They want to talk about Jamaica. They want to talk about Africa from where they come. And I understand that, but I don't want to talk about Africa. I don't have nothing to do with Africa. So we have a dilemma. You said, remember that militant Black group ain't taking no shit or something like that? That guy's in jail now. Exactly, Easy X. That dude, what was his name? I could see his face. He looked at it and sounded ridiculous. The guy that had the gun. And did he shoot up into the air or something like that? Or the ceiling? I don't know what he did, but he's in jail now. Yeah, that group. I wonder how many people was affected by that bullshit. What was his name? If y'all can remember, let me know. I can't remember his name at all. Yeah, he pointed the gun out at the federal agent. Okay, at the federal agent. Okay. Yeah. Repent and believe in the gospel. Praise Jesus. Amen. Dragon Caster says, okay, so you are a Christian. Welcome. Because you speak in truth for Black, that's why they can't say anything. It's fascinating to me because I go to other channels and I see so many different comments over the stupidest conversation. But when it comes to me, it's like only one or two every blue moon will comment on my platform. Everybody's scared to be shown that they're watching me. It's weird. You said, have you ever been on any of the debate channels? Yeah, I used to go to Sonetta sometimes. And I go to, what's his name? Judah Nazareth platform sometimes. And a couple of others. Garfield I used to see a long while ago. That's when I started recognizing what Pan-African was because of him and Sonetta TV's platform. That's when I looked up Pan-Africanism back in 2018 and learned all about it and was quite disturbed by it when I first read about it. You said okay, thank you for that, Michael Ferguson. I really appreciate you. Thank you for that. You said, have you ever, okay, I said that. If they do say something and come sideways, they're afraid we will light their asses up in the chat. Grandmaster J. Okay, Golden Brown says, now I want to maneuver to Khazarian Empire. I was planning on playing this portion. I want you guys to see how confused this young brother is that's claiming to be FBA. And what was startling about him is that initially when I first heard him, which I can't find that clip, but when I first heard him, he was talking about the $1 trillion spending power of Black Americans. Couldn't Africans use it? And I was like, who is this nutty bar talking about using our money towards Africa? If that's what, I don't think we have that much money like they're claiming that we do. That's just something that they say to put a target on our backs. But it's a carrot that's being used by many of them to just assume that's something that we should want Let me see. Let me go back. They're putting a target on our back for other people to feel like we have all this money. That's why when y'all go to Africa, people are looking at you like you are a money bag, because they really think we have a lot of money, and they don't understand we're living check to check primarily. Maybe 2 or 3 checks out ahead, maybe for some, maybe some have a couple of months ahead, maybe. But primarily we're living check to check. But this notion of us having 1.4 or 1.3 trillion dollars has got a whole lot of global Black people around the globe thinking we got all this money that we need to be dishing out to them. And so when we say we're not African, then that is, again, something that they don't like hearing. I'm going to play a little bit ahead where I was going to play, because I want to get to the good part sooner than later. But I want y'all to understand that there is this young brother. I would guess he's in his 20s, maybe late 20s or mid 20s. He sounds like it. But he's having a back and forth with, I guess, 2 Africans, Kandala, and also eventually Khazarian Empire. And they're going to ask the question, are you African? Because of the back and forth. And at first, this whole conversation was about delineation, about us having our own identity and why it's important to do so. Why can't Nigerian Americans just call themselves Nigerian Americans from the beginning to the end? Why are they claiming to be African Americans when they use Nigerian Americans when they become successful? Why can't you just use it all the way around? And instead of them having a legitimate answer, they just deflect, saying that we shouldn't want to delineate from them, and we're African, and this bullshit talk. But let's go.
Are you African? No, I'm American. I already told you I don't even really play the Black shit. But since my people, you're American. You see, this is another thing. We can't trust you then if you're American. We're African. I mean, too bad. We can't. I'm not actually American. He's literally the enemy, because if America told you to come and colonize Nigeria, you'll be out there taking your butt and joining the army and colonizing us. So we can't even trust you. You're not even African. You see, there is an important delineation here. Black Americans. The same thing. Good. Now it looks like we agree then, because we can't trust you. Right, as Africans, we got your allegiance. Okay, Zara, look, but this is the problem right here. Why do you think Obama had to pretend he was born in Hawaii in order to become a president? Because if he came out with his birth certificate, being born in Homer Bay and being my cousin, he wouldn't have been able to become your president. So, but how come you guys are failures? You couldn't even provide a Black president. It had to come from Kenya. Don't make me run the rest. Over 50,000 inventions, prominent leaders. We went over there and helped y'all with some of y'all shit. We're not failures, bro. Don't get it fucked up. We'll be way richer if they never destroyed half of our stuff, and if they took the ceiling off of us. If they were to get out the way, we are still to this day the most influential group on the world and the planet. Because majority of the collective in America. Listen. American economy is a fake economy. It's not real. You don't produce anything that's traded in the world, apart from, hang on, military industrial complex that controls the navies and the international waters for trade, and also obviously Google, the technology companies. America doesn't provide anything else. You think Americans are being paid $100,000 a year because they're producing $100,000 worth of value in the economics of the world market? Of course not. No, it's not even you. Just happen to be born in America, so the economics of what America steals, Americans are the Vikings in the modern geopolitics. You go out, you pillage, then they bring it back, and they divide it with the slaves, the Black Americans. You are just lucky that you guys. All right, so I'll say Francis all masters. If you want to play that game, Francis.
And that's the jealousy of it all. Khazarian Empire, as much as I like you, let me shout out his platform. Y'all can check out his platform. That's the way you spell it. But a lot of real conversations happen on that platform. When they first started going live, it was kind of fake. was fake Pan-African talk, and now it's more Africans speaking their mind, and they slip up and say a lot from time to time. But the jealousy of us being an American, being in America, not going through what they're going through right now in Africa seems to really be a talking point that they always bring out every time I turn around. But yeah, he's going to talk about it's only because y'all around the white people that y'all been doing so well. Basically, if you were around our black asses, you'd be struggling just like us.
Masters, because French tell y'all can't move shit without French. Y'all can't even make a currency without French saying y'all can do it. If French tell y'all ain't doing shit, French tell y'all ain't moving no motherfucking diamonds, y'all ain't doing no foreign affairs, y'all ain't doing shit over there. So let's keep it 100. At least over here, they know not to play with us. It's a major difference. Y'all over there, y'all motherfuckers y'all don't say shit. They say, hey, let me get y'all diamonds. Let me take out your leader. Let me do this. Let me do that. What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna shut the fuck up. Y'all gonna shut the fuck up and pray for a better day. Straight up. Or say Black Lives Matter. That's what the fuck y'all gonna do. So don't sit over here trying to act like they got us in chains. We fought to get the fuck out of chains. Don't get it fucked up. And they would never try no shit like the shit they try over there. Let's keep it 100.
Bro, you did fight to free yourself, man. They use it.
Like I said, we can't fight to free our fucking self. They use that pen. If they just freed us, they would have
So there is Kandala, who is a Nigerian living in Nigeria, saying that we did not fight for our freedoms. We didn't go to the war and fight. We didn't do anything. We just waited for the white man to, dissolve away slavery. He doesn't want to give us credit for anything. We were fought in the Civil War. We fought in all the wars. And everything else that we could do, that they allowed to have happen, that we were able to do, we did. To be able to stand up here and say that we earned what we got. There's a lot of Africans, not all, but there's a lot that benefit off of us coming to America, off of civil rights and whatnot. But they want to discredit that while using it. They want to say it ain't shit. It don't mean nothing while using that same thing to allow them entrance into America. It's amazing. It's appalling what they do and how they're moving. But, these are examples that we need to just heed and remember.
Kill Abraham Lincoln. So what are you talking about?
They use our pen to free you. They use our pen to free you.
Do you know about that? Do you know about the Seminole Wars?
Johnson used that pen. Johnson used that
Do
pen.
you know about the Seminole Wars, Ola?
Who's Seminole War?
Okay, they don't even know what you're talking about, bro.
Hold on. Is your ancestor from Africa?
What? No.
Is your ancestor from Africa?
Probably 500 years ago. And like I said, y'all have to beat 300,000 and a 4% that came here throughout the transatlantic slave trade.
Maybe not. So you see one thing you have to understand about is this. The Africans they took from Africa, we know the way they look like, we know who they are. The ones that they start showing us right now, they're not the ones they picked a long time ago. You understand me? So we said, okay, why you open the door and said, oh, whoa, sure, look at them. They're from Africa. We said, hey, no, they're not from Africa. We want the ones that took 18-something, 17-something to 1900. So that's the problem Africans are having now with the ones that they're showing to us right now. We said, hey, no, there's no one of us at all, man.
Listen, for everybody who think I'm ignorant, for everybody that have a problem with me, I'll give y'all 15 more minutes of my time, bro. Because I'm already talking for a damn horse. So I'll give y'all 15 more minutes of my time. For anybody,
I'm dealing with you.
If nobody jump on the live stream, I don't care what you got to say because it's safe in the comments. See, the difference between you guys in the comments and me on the panel, the difference between you guys in the comments and me on the panel, anybody can tap in and challenge me off of what I said. That's just a fact.
I'm going to be dealing with you.
And it's an open invitation for anybody who feels some type of way. Just tap in. I will give you guys 15 more minutes. I already told you guys. If you go back to the beginning of this live stream, I already told them I did not want to talk about this. But for some reason, they continuously want to talk to me about the shit. I'm the only person that they continuously want to talk to me about this same problem. I told you guys, I did not want to talk about this topic because I don't care how outsiders feel.
Because you don't want to talk about it because you know it will trigger some kind of what you don't like about the app. Let me just tell you something.
Hold on, I let you talk for 15 minutes, bro, about everything that you basically agree with me. But you talked for 15, 20 minutes, bro, saying everything you said. Listen, all I said is delineation. And like I said, Hammer brought it up. I didn't even want to talk about it, right? Then you jumped up after he left, and now you agree with everything I said, but you have some type of animosity already, so you just was rambling off anyway and talking about how you truly felt about the scenario. So of course, but it all ended up to you basically saying it's a distinction.
Yeah, there's a distinction. I also agree that the people that took, right? The people that took from Africa a long time, I understand they took some people from Africa, but people that took from Africa, they're not the ones we're seeing right now. You understand me? I'm not seeing those people that took a long time. The one I'm seeing right now, they look like Diana Ross. They look like Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson is not an African. So the truth of the matter, back and open the door of Kojo for me. Don't have to open the door of Smokey Robinson. Don't have to open the door of Diana Ross for me to look at because I don't know the hell is these people is showing me right now. That's why I said something. You know, when you were talking, I asked something. I said, "You're not an African, one because you don't think like an African, and you know like Kojo that they took from Africa. So when they opened the door and said, "Hello, West African," this I said, "No, just close back that damn door, man, and open the door like Kojo for me." You understand me? So don't get pissed if I say you're not an African, that because you don't look like Kojo. So just the way you were bashing Africans that this African that they want to claim Black America, they want to be like no African man want to be like Black American. African man want to be like where it's coming from. You understand? So that's the way you were speaking. That's why everyone coming to like, hell, bro, hold on, man.
Okay, hold on. I want to see. Let's see what the video he got to play. But after that, then anybody on the phone?
Today we are going to be talking about colorism.
Don't let this like kid fool your ass. Because I'm the wrong nigga to fuck with. Alright? Word to your mama, because I come out there and touch your ass.
That is not an African. That is a Black American. You can see her features. I don't see African in there. That is a white woman. Nothing wrong with white women. That white woman is God's special gift to the world. Masha Allah. Thank you, God, for making a beautiful white woman. But that is not African.
Hey guys, I would like to talk about this for a minute. There has been a lot of kind of low-key shade thrown at me that people think I haven't picked up. And usually on this channel, I don't talk about colorism. You guys already know I'm a full Black American. I'm proud of it. I talk about issues that face our community. But there seems to be an issue with some Black American women, the phenotype of Black American women, and who's Black, who's not. But one issue that I talked about before was Africans. This African woman is obsessed with Black American phenotype. You go to her channel, all she do is obsess off what Black Americans look like, erasure of Black people, et cetera, et cetera. And in her mind, she thinks because she's in America that she needs to be the face of Black women. And that
question B, shout out to you. How much DNA qualifies as one African American? They don't even check DNA. As long as you're one drop blood of Black, then you're Black. You're Black American. So you could literally be white, but they still call you Black American because of the American racial census laws. In Africa,
they want to be anyway. Can we let some more people ask? Because I'm about to leave off this shit. Like I said, y'all not going. We both have an open challenge. Is FBA gonna fizzle out or is it here to stay? Right. That's the end goal. But Al, I seen you on here and one man you joined. Do y'all got anything to ask me directly before I go? I already see we walking in circles, bro. Majority of y'all already debated about the same topic, bro. Like that's why I'm so triggered. People probably figure like, why he's short tempered. Man, I debated these guys for 12 hours about the same shit, and I thought after 12 hours they wouldn't dare ask me about the shit. Even him that just joined, I debated everybody who joined in the game. But do anybody have any questions for me directly, or is it for the topic of the live stream?
The truth. You, as a brother, do you see yourself as an African, African Americans, or African descendant? That's the only question I have.
Me personally, I see us as the original people, and I see us as the original people, and it's a lot of other shit going on. Now, of course, Africa is viewed as the headquarters, okay? But based off of what happened and how long my people have been here, and since the fact that it was breeding farms and a lot of atrocities that happened throughout the transatlantic slave trade, I see myself as American. I see myself as American. Now, that does not mean that I don't care about Africans, but I see.
That's true. Sorry.
I'm trying to build a bridge with you guys.
Yes, of course. I can tell. I can tell. You're a decent guy, and I don't think you deserve some of the shit that's been thrown at you. But at the same time, I struggle to understand not only personally, some of the FBA mentality and how they see themselves to be. And the question, the reason do you racially see yourself, not culturally? Because we do have the same problem in Africa. We have black brothers in Sudan, dark as hell, black as African as they get. They will call themselves Arab because they have the Arab culture. I'm a Fulani descendant. I have some of our brothers who are so brainwashed by the religion. Even though they're more African than they get, they're darker than the charcoal grade. In the Senegambia region. If you ask them, some of them will think they're Arab, but obviously we know they're not. Even the Arab are black, just thinking they're Arab. But really truly they are black African. So I'm asking you, not culturally, do you see yourself as a black American or African American, or do you see yourself as a Native American? Which one would you fall into? Which category?
I see myself. I'm different, bro. I'm not for none of those misnomers.
So if you look at yourself in America,
I see myself as a U.S. national. That's it. I see myself.
Okay. U.S. national, there are different races that come under U.S. national, right?
No, it's not. It's about bloodline. If we get off of Jews Solis, they will have to say that's the original bloodline here.
That's true. You're a very clever guy. I debate debates on this panel on different cases, and he came up on the top, and with a lot of people there, a lot of people debating which he came up on the top. But today, I want to, at the moment, I am not convinced, basically. So, because I know America basically, right? You have the Hispanic, you got the Mexicans, yeah? You got the mixed brothers, you got the redheads, you got the white Europeans, right? These are not all the same people, they're all different people. You got the African American, and you got as you said, you got the black African that went over there, that was born there, who obviously have nationality. A nationality and a race can be two different things, right? So even in England, for example, I'll give you a great example. The Welsh, we have the Scottish, and we have the English. They do not see themselves as the same. However, they learn to be British, right? So just because you carry that British passport doesn't make you an English person. You could be black, you could be Welsh, you could be mixed race, you could be an Indian. So, at the moment, you're not giving me an answer that's actually viable.
I see what you're trying to get to. You're basically saying, do I consider us all family as far as the Black Americans?
You don't have to see us. You don't have to see us as family. But how you personally, you look at yourself in the mirror right now, right, as a brother, right? What would you class yourself as? Because the white man will not spoil you unless you're white person who's eye or green eyes and
Again, he told him he was an American, and they cannot accept American. He said that in the beginning. And so they're going to keep on wrangling him and trying to force him to Africanize himself. This is what he's trying to set himself up to do. And so many more Africans have joined the panel now, and they're going to like join and try to force him into accepting that he's African, and he's going to fold. I wouldn't have folded. I would have been like, dude, I told you in the beginning, I'm American. How many ways can I say American? How many ways can I say indigenous American? How many ways can I say indigenous Black American? How many ways can I say that Black is my ethnicity? How many ways can I say that I'm American as my nationality? And how can I say that my color really doesn't exist? The so-called race situation in our case, or race-wise, is not really the truth. It's made up by white supremacists. So I don't acknowledge that. Why is it so hard for people to say this? But just listen to him. Maybe he's a young man. Maybe that's why. Maybe he's trying to be appeasing or appealing. I don't know. Let's listen.
Or brown hair or ginger, ginger hair. They will not clash as one of them. They will not call you a Caucasian, right? Even if you're mixed with an Asian or a Chinese person, they will not call you a Caucasian, right? They will call you something else. So what would you call yourself? Look at the mirror now. What would you call yourself? Would you call yourself as a Black American or African American, or as Native?
And what you said was interesting, Charlie, when you said that they only want us calling ourselves African American. A lot of them only want us to accept that as a fact, and we don't. You're right about that. What did you say? Let me find that term, what you just said. Must have lost it. Oh, you said, yeah, they're going to have a problem with every name except African American, and that is absolutely correct. Please like and share the video. Please subscribe to my channel. That's true facts. Michael Ferguson says, we have the money just so divided that it's hard to see. We as Blacks create wealth, but for our nation, for other nations and not our own, shaking my head. It's so many vipers though, Michael, so many people that are not trustworthy, so many people that are just trying to pimp us, so many people that are just trying to take what they can get from us with using their mouthpiece like pimps. It's really hard to know who is really legitly for you. That's the biggest issue, trust. Among our own people in America, we have trust issues, and that's a fact. But for some strange reason, we seem to want to trust strangers in other lands more than we trust ourselves. And that's telling how fragmented we really are, how crazed we have really become. It's really a sad phenomenon. Four Rivers said, but it's interesting that they say the indigenous Blacks have that much money. It might be in their estate, something similar to what the Moors talk about. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're worth something as individuals in America for as long as we've been here, our Social Security and all these other things attached to us, but we don't have access to that money though, Lynn, is what I'm saying. I'm saying it might be in value that we're worth so much, but tangibly we can touch the money like that? Not really. We have a lot of celebrities though that have that money. We ain't got that money. Common folk like me and you, Lynn, and others, we don't have the luxury of having all this money. We weren't raised in money. I know I wasn't. You said they need to get it through their thick skull. We are not Africans. We are Americans, Lynn M says. It's the hardest thing for them to accept. And what's so telling is that, again, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, this wasn't a conversation. And suddenly in 2024, this is ratcheting up to be the conversation. They're trying to bully us into being Africanized, and I'm not having it. Lynn M says, we don't want nothing to do with Africans. We're not interested in working with them. we have not seen enough positivity to believe in going that route. We only see scams. We only see deception. We only see manipulation. Unfortunately, that's the way they presented themselves. It's not me doing it. It's what they've done. And it's the truth. Most of them have been trying to get what they can get from us, just like many other people out here as well. The Haitian American, Lou Major did the same damn thing. Lynn M says, I have 3 ancestors that fought in the Revolutionary War. Okay, salute. I have ancestors and relatives who's fought in every war. I heard that. Why people from other countries are concerned with indigenous Black Americans' identity is weird, because we don't care about their identity. We never, ever argue with them about what they tell us. It's like, oh, that's where you're from. And I let them tell me what they're going to tell me. And I try to learn from what they tell me. I don't try to refute what they tell me. I don't try to say, oh, you're a lie. That's not what happened. I let them tell me what they are, who they are. They cannot respect us, though, in the same vein. They cannot respect our narrative and what we say we are. They are breathing off of our narrative. So they want to control it. They want to control what the breath comes from, where the breath comes from. Four Rivers, GD says, there were many conflicts in America that the indigenous Blacks fought in, that Africans should stop talking about what he doesn't know. Again, they're discrediting us today. They're saying, oh, that was so long ago. What have you done now? What are you guys living off the vapors of your ancestors? Well, yeah. And y'all are living off the vapors of our ancestors too. The same thing. But we've earned the right to live off of these vapors. What have you done to earn living off of our ancestors' vapors? Nothing. That's the difference. But they don't want to acknowledge that part. Easy Act says, yes, foreign Blacks take advantage of the set-asides and rights that our ancestors fought for, but our government allows it and don't differentiate the two groups. Our target is the government. It is. It has to be. It's not so much as their fault, the immigrants, as it is the government that allowed this to be. They wouldn't be able to work the loopholes if they weren't there, and they're purposely there for them to use the loopholes, and they're definitely doing it. And now that we see it, we're trying to say, hold up, this is not fair. You guys are using 2 different identities, or 3 sometimes. And we only got one that was issued to us. And we're boxed in, locked in. It's not fair. Africans don't even see other tribes living right next to them as the same. So they are lying. It's all about the money. Exactly, Lynn M. If they could be over there and see Igbo and Yoruba and Hausa and Fulani as being different, and then come on YouTube talking about we don't see differences. Use a goddamn lie. Because y'all see differences over there in Africa. You done cleaned yourself up and jumped your ass on social media talking about you don't see no damn differences. Use a lie from the depths of hell. That's what you are. We know. The gig is up. We all know now. You can't clean it up. Get on social media talking perfect English to convince me anything. I ain't that gullible no more. I don't care if you speak the English language like the British or whoever. I'm not convinced of any of it, because I know from watching and listening what the true histories that have been, especially what has transpired the last year over there in Ethiopia, how the Tigrays were killed off by another group of people. It still exists with this tribal warring. But y'all get on social media talking about, we all the same. We were slaves off of the different boats. Or your old ancestors of old. Oh, we miss you and love you so much. Why aren't you loving the Brazilians so much? No, ain't there more of them over there than over here in America? Why aren't you loving them more? They got a lot more people over there. but ain't no love. Why is that? Because they ain't got no money. Is that why? So you want our money? That's what it is. We know. We know. Easy X said, yes, foreign blacks take advantage. Okay, I read that. Well, yes, the Africans is right when he says he doesn't see the type of African here that he's looking for. Exactly, because we've been morphed into so many different things. We had a ethnogenesis. Not many Africans were brought to the United States. He confirms that. Exactly. Without understanding, he confirmed it. Yeah, we don't look nothing like y'all because we're all mixed up and there wasn't that many Africans that actually got off the boat here. They went to Brazil. They went to the Caribbeans. They went all over the place. But a lot of them did not make it to America like that because there was already people that was living on this land that was stripped of their identity and forced to be in categories that we know now that have existed a while ago. Colored, for instance. Just think of that. We lost our identity and we're just called colored, or Negro, or mulatto, or freedman. Okay? Categories that were turned into our ethnicities. The only people that had that happen to them is indigenous Black Americans, because everybody else chose to make the move, chose to identify as our imposed governmental issue name. They chose it. They checked it off on the box. They didn't want to stand out and say, I'm a Jamaican American. I'm Jamaican until I get my green card or whatever. They wanted to classify themselves as African American or Black American to muddle the waters. And a lot of them did it on purpose. Apparently, it's shown to be that has occurred. So in my mind, there's not 40 million of us anymore. In my mind, we might even be down to like 35 million, 30 million. It's possible that 10 million has signed on as us. Think about that. Think about that. Charlie Shaw says, Easy Acts, it was always our target. They jumped in front and got the backlash. Who did? Easy Act says, if I were a foreign Black coming from third world conditions, I would take advantage of Black Americans too. There is nothing Black Americans can do about it if it's government sanctioned. That's why we should have a long time ago, Easy Acts. The boomers let us down. They weren't observant. They weren't paying attention. They should have demanded to get our own name a long time ago when we noticed that there were more foreigners that were coming in. But we, to be fair, probably did not foresee this future that we're having right now. But now we see what's going on. And we're like, whoa. Charlie Shaw says, they are so disrespectful and jealous, which leads to envy. Unfortunately, it does. And a lot of them slip up and say the most damning things ever. And I'm like, there to catch it. And I have showcased a lot of it. But they want the money that they think we have. They also want to identify as us. Exactly, Lynn M. Just like the movie Us. It's very, very ironic that movie is so in tune with what is going on today. It's really a trip to bear witness to. It's not hate speech, YouTube. It's observation on what we've noticed. Indigenous Black Americans are fighting to not be erased from history and be erased from being known as being Americans, indigenous to America. We don't want to be classified as immigrants because we're not. immigrants. And that is an important thing that we're trying to fight to do. And that's not hate to point out what we're noticing. So I hope no one takes it as such, but I'm sure somebody out there is taking it as such. And instead of you going in the comment section and saying what you think, you just are seething inside right now. You said we weren't bothering them about it. It's when we want to delineate and they feel they don't have access to it, started all this chaos. Exactly. And immediately all of them were on board with the same feeling. Not all, because there are some that are understanding. It's just so hard to hear from them saying such. It's hard for them to speak out about it if they do support. Easy Access, yes, Charlie, foreign blacks are disrespectful by assuming our identity, but they don't care. They are hungry and come to eat. It's a hard lesson we have to learn. Easy Access, yeah, we're the menu. Four Rivers says, yes, it's all about the money with them, but they are hypocritical because they know they are not us, but they want the benefits. Facts. Lynn says they want to identify as us, especially the ones in the U.S. They want to walk into our lineage, history, and accomplishments because they have nothing to be proud of, so they project and gaslight us. It seems that way, doesn't it, Lynn? We don't care about them eating, though, Charlie says. Well, they're eating off of us whether we like it or not, Charlie. That's what is going on. Easy Access, I have this debate all the time with my family. Most just don't get the disconnect. They are still lost in the sauce, Easy Access? Oh, no. Okay, you said the food is not infinite and they don't share. I don't care about them eating, Easy Access. Yeah, food supplies are going to run low. That's what we got to know. It's running low now. But when we push back Islamophobic, Charlie Shaw says, they are going to tell me how to identify. I don't care what propaganda they use. You said, I guess you meant to say they are not going to tell me how to identify. Yes, exactly. Easy Access, lots of nieces and nephews in my family, and the future looks very unstable to them, or them, without identity, with dwindling resources. Yes, it's looking like we're going to be in a hill of trouble in the next 20 years, if not sooner. Because a lot of these immigrants are coming over here being pregnant on purpose so that they can jump on this American bandwagon. They're all doing it. Lynn says our delineation has set them odd. They have to be attached to us in order to feed. That sounds so parasitic, Lynn. Wow, in order to feed. Yes, I call myself an American too, Lynn. How do they need us to eat when they have the most resources than any nation by far? Because they don't know how to produce nothing from their resources. If they would focus on one or two or three things to produce, they could turn all this stuff around, but yet they don't seem to think that way. One or two or three things proficient that everybody has to buy from what they produce from the ground to production. Major three things, four things, something to start with that everybody had to get because they have the most of it, because they weren't selling those resources out anymore. They cut it off. They cut off certain resources that they were giving out so that they could produce from the resource and force the people around the globe to have to purchase the stuff that they produce from the ground. But they don't do that. They don't think about that. They're not on that thought process. 3, 4 things. What? Like be proficient in making wood, if they have enough wood anymore, because China has been making a run for all their lumber and tearing up their trees, tearing up their waters, tearing up their fish industry, especially in the Gambia and other places. They could focus on wood. They could focus on making sure that they don't give out that type of resource, and then other resources in the ground. They could make sure that Benite, is it called Benites? One of them Starts with a B. It ends with ITE, but it's in Ghana. They could get that and also make something from that. And other examples like that. You said, you said that's why people have to be careful when they go to opposing channels. Four Rivers says they will always try to get you to eventually give in. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go back to playing that in just a second after I read more of these comments. Please like the video. Please share the video. Golden Brown says, did the Aboriginals of Australia come from Africa? So why is it impossible for us to come from America? Exactly. They don't look nothing African. There's nobody that resembles them at all over there. And yet we have to come from Africa. Isn't that amazing? Golden Brown. Len says they are fleeing from all of their resources because they can't figure out how to access their own resources, so they flee. I think they know how to get the resources. They just don't know how to produce something from them. You got to be able to produce something from the ground to something to sell production wise. And if you can't do that, you're going to get gypped. And that's exactly what they've been getting, gypped. They flee to the Americas to eat off of indigenous Black American accomplishments. Yes, they do. And then they start saying, we did this. Like, how can we do this when you were the enslaver or selling slaves? There ain't no we. There's no we. You said everyone wants a piece of the Black American. Yes, they do. BRK says, I meant to say they wouldn't have it to tell them who they are. They wouldn't have it to tell them who they are. We got to tell people who we are. That's the thing. We have to say it with a proud and unapologetic tone. We got to say that shit with our chest poked out and stop letting people fold you and make you feel like you're less than, or you have to just surrender. That's the type of mindset you're going to need moving forward. Lynn says, all we want is to delineate. We want our own ethnic group. That's it. That's all, Lynn. It's as simple as that. All we want, people listening, is to delineate and have our own ethnic group. It will bring about pride within us. It will bring about confidence restored in us. It will make us feel more whole and peaceable. That's what we need. But for some strange reason, Pan-Africans and Africans are in cahoots together, trying to get in the way of our ethnic group because, again, they want to treat us like slaves and use us up and spit us out and use us as sacrificial lambs. That's why they want us to stay scattered brain, because it helps them to manipulate us when we're scattered brain. You said, yes, to have to run from a continent that's full of resources because they don't have access to it, just sad. Four Rivers says, indigenous Black Americans do not want to be African Americans because we are not Africans. Exactly. Indigenous Black Americans are an amalgamation. Yes. Yes, we are. BRK says they are very tribal in their countries. You can see it on YouTube when people travel over there. When it comes to America, it's different. Exactly. You said if anything good has come out of globalism, it's that we all see the truth about what's happening in Africa. Yes, we do, Four Rivers. Med B, thank you, says Facts. Thank you for coming through. You said we were enslaved and reclassified to Negro, Black, and colored. Yup. That's what happened, Lynn. We're finding out more and more and more about it. Easy access delineation won't be worth the paper it's on if we don't enforce it. And that's where the real delineation takes effect. Are we willing to do that at the expense of being told we are Islamophobic? Again, they're going to use anything they can just to cause us to be rattled, and doing right by us, we're just going to have to be unapologetic about it like every other group is. When every other group passes over us, they shit on us. when every other group comes up off of us, they shit on us. They're laughing. They're scoffing. They're unapologetic on how they do us. We have to say the same. We have to have the same mindset to survive. It's not exotic phobic. It's mechanism that's used to survive. Everybody else does it, and they're not batting an eye. Why are we batting eyes? Why are we shaky? Why are we shook? Why are we confused? Because we're dumb and full of confusion. And this video, I hope, to bring about the type of mindset that we need. And I'm going to play the lady that's on the thumbnail after I read this before I go back to the other video, because that's the mindset we need. And unfortunately, she passed on in 96. Her name was Barbara Jordan. And she was a representative and spoke very forcefully against immigration. And we need to have big voices such as hers heard in these spaces. Like I say, we can't physically be there. We should be calling. We can't physically be there. We should be emailing. We should be faxing. We should be writing letters. We should be making calls. There are some things that we can do, right? We have the numbers to really turn this shit around, but yet we're stagnated and we're scatterbrained on purpose. And this is why this video is important for us to see what is going on. You said, unfortunately, the boomers had their hands full. Many were dealing with Jim Crow laws, migrations, poverty, war drafts, drug influxes, and other into their communities, etc. Four Rivers says. Yeah, but once some of them became successful, Four Rivers, they kind of like went on cruise mode, and they didn't want to do anything extra that would rock the boat. And I wish somebody would have had insight about our identity and the need for us to have our own ethnic group. I think that a lot of us have been really lost feeling maybe the last 20, 30 years. And that's because of us not having no sense of pride or leadership. And it shows, unfortunately. You said, oops, hold on. You said we have an ethnicity. It's just been wiped from history. Our oppressors know who we are and work day and night to keep us as a whole from finding out. Yes, that's right, Michael. Well, who do you think we are, Michael Ferguson? Type in what you think we are. Lynn says, I know the history and who we are. Our nationality now is American. That's right. Easy X says, Congo, Sudan, Somalia are the major conflicts in Africa right now. Yep. Many minor conflicts around the continent, youngest population on the planet being born into these conditions, they will flee. Yep. Michael says they let Mexicans, Africans, and everyone else come here and help them up while we stay down. Clearly, we aren't viewed as Americans by America. We're viewed as the slave class, the class of people that has been disenfranchised and marginalized and ostracized and treated cold and rude and crude. We're the same people that they've been doing that for generations to. And they want to keep it that way. You said for Black, it's not Islamic phobic, it's exotic phobic. Well, I must miss something. I'm sorry. They flee to the United States and then they automatically become us, like they have no memory of their lineage, culture, or history. Isn't that funny? They get dumbfounded. They get confused on what, I don't know. If I would have came from another country, me, myself, I would have used other and probably would have wrote in what I was. I would not have ever wanted to match up with another group of people that is not myself and my history. I would have felt some kind of way to align myself and call myself something I wasn't. Me personally, I would have kept it myself. But here is Barbara Jordan, who again was very masterful and being an advocate for Indigenous Black Americans and see the difference and what's going on and see how powerful she was.
We strongly denounce the hostility which seems to be developing around immigrants. That is not healthy. We cannot sustain ourselves as a nation if we condone divisiveness in this society of immigrants. At the same time, we disagree with those who label our efforts to control immigration as anti-immigrant. I believe quite firmly that we can quiet and dampen the flames which are surrounding public opinion where immigration is concerned, because people on both sides of this issue have engaged in too much hyperbole. We have got to put the matter of immigration back on a civil course. We have got to know that immigration really goes to the heart of who we are as a nation. If we are confident enough as Americans in our culture, we should welcome the legal immigrant. We should be able to accommodate diversity in our society. Are we strong enough?
Key word is legal. She was for legal immigration, but she was against loosening up on the notion of who is legal, because there were and always been illegal immigrants that have come over here and also taken advantage of the loopholes that's been provided, them having babies here and whatnot, them coming over here, assuming jobs and other things that they would do, which would clash with Americans. Now listen to her.
Welcome those who ought to be in and retain a commitment to the rule of law by keeping those out who shouldn't get in. If we are to preserve our immigration tradition and our ability to say yes to the people who want to get in and seek entry, we've got to have the strength to say no to the people who are not supposed to get in. We need to make deportation a part of a credible immigration policy. As a nation committed to immigrants and the rule of law, we've got to do that balancing act. The most urgent immigration problem we face today is the unauthorized entry of hundreds of thousands of illegals. That undermines our commitment to legal immigration. Although the illegal alien may be generally law-abiding, and particularly in good economic times, maybe we need the illegals, their entry in violation of the law is a violation of our national interest. We believe a credible approach to immigration must be comprehensive. First, border management. We support a very simple view about border management: prevent illegal entries, facilitate legal ones. The second part of our strategy: work site enforcement. Employment, we believe, continues to be the principal magnet for illegal aliens coming into the country. As long as U.S. businesses benefit from illegals on their workforce, they are not going to try to help us get on top of the problem. We believe that employer sanctions must be made to work, and enhanced labor standards enforcement essential components of a strategy to reduce the job magnet. The third part of our recommendations: immigrant eligibility for public benefits. That's a major one. The Commission believes that decisions about eligibility should support the objectives of immigration policy. Using these objectives as a measure of benefit policy, we come to the following conclusions. First, legal permanent residents should continue to be eligible for needs-tested assistance programs. Our views on eligibility for benefits of illegal aliens are different from those benefits that are recommended for legal aliens. If an alien is in this country lawfully, he should receive whatever benefits a lawful resident receives. But if a person is here unlawfully, he should be entitled to no benefits. No benefits. Why the distinction between the eligibility of legal aliens and illegals? Illegal aliens don't have the right to be here. They broke the law to get here. They never intended to become a part of our social community, and they are not entitled to benefits.
That's a true advocate. Barbara Jordan unfortunately passed in 1996, I believe, but she was very forceful. She had a very good stance about her and position, and she had the right tone and the right demeanor and mindset that is needed today. 94 is when she did that speech about immigration, 1994, and here we are in 2024. How time has flown. Now, getting back to Khazarian Empire's live, again, this FBA or Indigenous Black American who's kind of confused on what he wants to be, he is being surrounded by Africans who now is going to try to trick him into accepting himself as being Africanized. And this is what took place. I hope you guys can hear it. Please like and share the video. Please subscribe to my channel. If you do not like what I say, you can join the conversation. You won't be blocked if you don't say nothing crazy. If you just have an opinion, just speak your mind. Or you can leave a comment on the video itself about what you deem as being bad about what I say. I would like to know what I'm saying is wrong, and no one's saying anything. So apparently either you can't refute or rebuke or denounce what I'm saying because it's truthful or because you don't want to expose yourself. I can't tell, but please leave a comment. Please like and share the video. Let's go.
Mark, where would you go? Which direction would you go?
Man, I know, listen, as far
No, but can you answer that question at least? You're a very reasonable guy.
all of those are different things, bro. Even with the Native American,
How?
because listen, this is why. Let me answer you. Because when you say Black American, that traces back to the slavery thing, right? With the Negro. That's that.
For me, that's where maybe I would agree with the FBA to say yes, I am an African descendant of the
And
same.
then for African American,
Yes.
Wait, Al,
That's
you didn't even
the
get
fair
a question.
since 1980.
Get the question. What race are you? Are you a Black American? Are you a Native Indian?
that's not even a race.
Okay, wait. Okay, then tell us what you are.
Thank you.
Bro, if we going off of because let's go off the paperwork. They will say, I guess, Negroid. Are we all considered Negroid if you looking at the when they make the distinctions?
That's true. That's true. That's why I'm really disappointed in you. I never said that to you. I've been on here for a long time.
Bro, you're telling me that you telling me to identify as an identifier in a country, and basically they're all listen. African American has been here since 1980. We'll say 1960s, 1970s, right? Black American goes way back to the beginning of the cultivation of America, and then you want to say Native American, who basically subscribe and register with the government here. That's what you're asking me to pick out of one of those. And then, but then you made it, when you asked me the question, you posed, is there a connection between the Black Americans in America and the Africans? That's what you basically was asking me. So you're asking, so what are you saying? What you saying, when I give you an answer, when I say I consider myself a U.S. national, you say that's not good enough, right? You said that's not good enough. You want to go to like the class. So when I bring up Negro,
no, it's not about class. I want to
bring up everything else.
He's asking, are you connected to Africa? Are you connected to Africa in any way? That's what they're asking.
Probably 500 years ago.
So that's it. 500 years ago. That's what you're willing to acknowledge, right?
If they came over here, could the story say if they came over here as African, of course, I will have to be considered somewhat African if that's the story. Okay? If that's what we're talking about.
Are you part of those people that came here 500 years ago? Are you?
My lineage's been here
for 500 years.
I'm sure. I don't have no migrant. I don't have no.
Are you Native American?
I don't have no family outside.
Are you Native American?
Listen to me. That's true. Listen to me, right?
Do you know the Native Americans?
That's true. Listen, my kids, I would say my kids at least got 10% Cherokee red Indian bloodline from their mom's side. I would never look at my kids and say, they're Native American. And I know it's a higher percentage, than a lot of people in America that claim to be Native. I know that because not a lot of people in America have, that much of Cherokee in their bloodline. Because their great grandfather came here during the Second World War as a U.S. military officer, and had kids over here in the UK. Now, I'm asking you again, right? Obviously,
get on here, bro.
No, I'm asking you again. Racially,
motherfuckers on the panel before I leave.
No, exactly. Because racially, again, forget about the nationality, because your race and the nationality are two different things, right? Racially, what are
you? If we're going to race, right? You're talking about Charles Darwin, right? That's what you're talking about when you consider it.
No, I don't know what.
Hold on.
Man, let's go bring it on, man. You're asking race.
Co-speaker.
Yeah, let one man come in.
Hold on. You know what race is, so you know the question. So if you want to answer,
in America they say race is black.
Don't worry about you. In America, they say, "What are you?" And if you don't want to, you are not obliged to answer the question. And running around, you're not to same boat. Stop running around.
Is African a race? Is African a race? Is African a race? Or Sub-Saharan African a race? Sub-Saharan African a race.
Okay, so for the last time, what race are you?
African is a race.
We all know what race is. So. What racial type are you? Sub-Saharan Africans are race. What's going on? Do you not understand the question? What race are you? It's quite a binary question.
We're going to 4 different classifications, bro. I will be considered a Negroid.
So what do you consider yourself? What do you consider yourself to be?
A Negroid. A black.
When you got the different distinctions of races, bro, they're going to have Negroid. Let me go bring it up.
Okay. One man is still the truth. He's a black African brother who is seeking to distance himself from us. That's no problem.
Where is he going to, though? Are they going to accept him wherever, or is it creating a new thing for?
They're creating a new race. Via Tariq Nasheed.
An American race, American black race.
A new supreme race that better than the African.
Bro, there's 2 different India. Do y'all even know what India means? See, I think a lot of you guys don't really fully understand what you are asking me. And it's not even for everybody on the panel. These is for people in the comments that's saying that the Indian stuff. There's 2 different Indias. So just that already. You need to shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about, bro? So even if I were to say, yeah, I am Indian, the follow-up question would be, which Indian? Because there's people in America, and there's people over there in India.
Are you able to switch on your camera where you are?
Like, retarded, bro. This shit is ridiculous, bro.
So, sorry, can you hear me? Are you able to switch on your camera?
For what?
So we can establish who and what you are.
I'm not showing my face, nigga. I don't.
So you're clearly not sure who or what you are. So
I'll show you my form. I'm not finna show you my face.
Yeah, let's see your
One
arm.
man.
Yeah, let's
One
see.
man. I can tell he's a black. I can tell he's a black brother. I can tell.
No,
he's
that's
one
his
of our-
face.
And then what I gained? And what I gained from showing you my work.
What do you gain? You get nothing. We get nothing.
So they're trying to get him to show his skin so they can try to Africanize him, and watch how he chooses on African a little bit after this. Watch.
So shut the fuck up. So when I said shut the fuck up.
So far stayed here. So we lose.
Yeah, one man. Let me just say one thing, right? What I noticed, not all of them. This is what Olakidola have to get right also.
Can y'all see my?
Yeah, you a nigga, man, just like me.
Yeah,
darker than me. You're darker than me.
Exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. It's
You
one
look
of the black brothers. He's more African than us.
You're as dark as me.
Nigga isn't even a classification, you idiot.
He's one of our
just
cousins.
said, look, I'm African. Like you can say you're a different ethnic group, but you can say you're African. Like the way you were dodging the question, it was weird. Like
No, because y'all, I have to make it very clear. Because you guys are talking about two different things. He just asked me what race I am, but then he's talking about identifiers within America. He wasn't even talking about African or none of that shit. He's talking about African American, Native American, or fucking Black American.
okay, most of us don't.
That's
know
what he's
America
talking about.
like
Those
that.
are identifiers in America. What are you talking
We're
about? I'm not
trying
knowing
to
if he's
see
talking
what
about
connection
what I
in
identify in America. Listen, hold on, sir. I don't know if he was talking about what I identify in America or abroad. I didn't know if he was trying to make a collective question as if he's encompassing the whole melanated people, or if he was sitting there trying to make a distinction within America. That's what I was asking him.
Right. Okay. I mean, I just should, I apologize if he misunderstood me.
That's what I kept asking. He's sitting there talking about
if I confuse
what do you
you in any
mean
form,
specifically?
if I confuse you in any form, my brother, but my intention is good, and what I'm trying to make clear here is, that you are an African bloodline, like us, but unfortunately,
You see, that's the wrong right there. Listen,
no. Let me just.
what is your money construct? No, let's talk about it, bro. Because y'all just turned up. Because it's certain information that y'all leaving out for the chat that's confusing the chat, right? So
Just
listen, Al, because I gotta make a distinction. You gonna always pull up a comment, right? So this is what I'm talking about. I didn't know if you was talking about the mitochondrial E gene, or if you were talking about a distinction within America. That's what I was trying to make. That's what I was trying to see exactly. What were you asking?
Right.
So I had to make a distinction. Now you guys are trying to make the mitochondrial E gene just an African thing, when it's people across the whole globe. It's people across the whole globe that look melanated. So I just showed you my hand.
Isn't this annoying that he just couldn't just say, I'm an American, dude, get over yourself. I'm not African. I don't care what my skin color showed. I'm not claiming African. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of my face with the dumb shit, dude. I told you what I was in the beginning, and that's what I am. Why couldn't he just say that? Because again, being easily influenced by peer pressure, I guess he's the only one that was on there representing Black American, and he couldn't really face them like I would have, but maybe it's because of his age. I'm not sure. What's up, EDEC? Thank you for coming through. Easy access. Foreign Blacks use a subtle finesse to take advantage of us. And panties know it, better known as Pan-Africans, known as panties, Pan-Africans know it. We are becoming aware of it now, and it's making them uncomfortable because the grift will no longer continue. Yeah, it's making them uncomfortable because they're like, oh my God, they all know. They know now. What can we say? Len M says, they view us as American. There is a caste system in America, and we are at the bottom of the caste system. Even melanated immigrants are above us. Yeah, they don't have the restrictions that we keep getting. And they don't get that part, but it's really that way. It's really that way for about 75% of us. Easy Access, isn't there a new movie out about Barbara Jordan or Shirley Chisholm? I'm thinking maybe Shirley Chisholm. I'm not quite sure. Barbara Jordan should have a movie out or a documentary out. Satch, Ohio, Barbara Jordan gave President Nixon hell with Watergate. Did she? I remember Watergate, but I was kind of young then. That must have been in the 70s, right? 79, something like that. Easy Axe, is that when it was? Or Satch, Ohio, I mean, is that when it was? Like 79, something like that? At least that's what my memory is trying to tell me. I might be wrong, though. Four Rivers, GD says Jordan was correct. But can you imagine the groups that probably attacked her views? Yeah. But you see her tone and her mentality was needed then and is definitely needed now. Lynn N says, I hope you know that Africa is owned by Europeans, Chinese, India, Russia, etc. Exactly. It's a done deal. Easy Access, Frederick Douglass held the same view in immigration. Are you listening, Dr. Umar? No, he's not. But yes, Frederick Douglass is the best advocate that I think we have ever had, in my opinion. I know that he married a white woman eventually, but I don't care as much as the fact that he helped women's rights and he also helped with our plight. So he's a hero, in my opinion, still, even though he's a man and made a mistake with leaving his black wife with kids. I don't know how she survived after they divorced, or did she die? I'm not quite sure if he let her pass on first before he moved on, or did he cheat on his black wife with the white lady? I'm not sure. I don't know that part. If someone knows, please let me know, because I'm curious now. EDEX says, for Black, your commentaries waken people. Many people on Twitter is seeing the con games of scamming foreigners and Pan-Africans. That's what I talk about, facts. Thank you for that, EDEC. Lynn says, I agree, illegal immigrants should not receive any benefits and they should not be allowed to work in the USA. Illegal immigrants, babies born in your country, should not be citizens. Facts. They should be stripped of everything. But that's my opinion. That's how I feel about illegal immigrants. That's how I feel. All comments and views posted in a respectable manner are welcome. Yes, that's right, Four Rivers. Thank you for that. Please like and share and subscribe. Thank you for that too. Matt B says you can't have a dialogue with them because they gaslight you. Immediately. Didn't you see how they surrounded him and bullied him? And he was looking like he was ready to give in. Len M says, why don't these Africans go and bother someone else? Go ask the Igbo to identify as Yoruba or Hausa or Fulani. Bingo. They will never do that, though. Go pan together all of those thousands of African tribes and see how that works. Exactly, Lynn. You ain't never. That's profound. Let me read that again. Why don't these Africans go and bother someone else? Go ask the Igbo to identify as Yoruba or Hausa or Fulani. Go pen together all those thousands of African tribes and see how that works. Exactly. They would never dare. They're only picking on the people they think that are broken, that can be manipulated and used as pawns. Do y'all get it now? Do y'all see it now? Charlie Shaw says they are hyper focused on us for some reason because we're a targeted group. Charlie Shaw, that's why we're the targeted group. Four Rivers said race would be Negroid, according to Darwin. But the question is, are we Negroids, African? I don't know if I even claim Negroid. That's something that he brought out, in the 1900s sometime? I don't want to identify with that. I'll identify as Negro. I'll identify as freedman. I'll identify as Indigenous Black American. I'll identify as Native Black or American. Those are what I'll identify as. Right. Lynn M. All they want to do is find some way to be similar to you. They want to wear you as a suit, put on and pull off. That's exactly what it is, like a wig. And they don't even see that that's what they're doing us like. They don't see it. Lynn M says, skin color doesn't make you the same people. The Adaman people are very dark skinned and kinky hair, and they are Indians, not Africans. Facts. They know that. They just use that propaganda against us, Charlie Shaw says. Okay, that sounds about right. Carl von Linnaeus created the race category in the 1700s, and we all go along. Scientists say race is not real, only ethnicities are real. I don't claim race. I claim ethnicity. Our ethnicity right now is Black. Nationality is American. No such thing as race. Charlie Shaw says, poor Black dude got upset because I said Black Americans don't give a F about Africans after he just said the exact same thing. He got upset with you because you repeated what he said. He don't care about us, and you said, I don't care about y'all. Isn't that funny? They don't mind saying it to us, and we're supposed to just not have that same emotion back. Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, right before Pontius Bill Clinton crime bill, I believe she have strong oppose with its hidden racist language. I'm sure she did. She was a very good, I remember her, seeing her. I thought she was a very potent and powerful lady. I really wish somebody like that would step up. But she's the last McCoy. Her and that one guy, Mays, I did a story about, the one that just recently passed. He was a councilman. What was his first name? I know his last name was May or Mays. I can't remember his first name, but he was also a good advocate too. He was not playing with nobody. How you doing, DeCapitrino? How you doing? Watergate was 1972 or 1973. Okay. Oh, okay. I was barely born. Wow. Easy Access, that's a good one. They wouldn't let us claim being their tribe, not that we want to be. Africans grab the low-laying fruit. Yeah, many of us are fruit ripe for the picking. You know, you ain't never lied. That's what we are. We're easily picked up off the ground and made into a hoe and a bitch if you let them. And I'm trying to wake y'all up. Don't be nobody's hoe. Don't let nobody bitch you. Don't let nobody hoe you around. Don't do it. They might not see they're wrong, but most how high see them, and they will reap what they sow. In closing, y'all, we need the right mindset, a tuning of the mind. We need to tune up our brain, and we need to go back and listen to Barbara Jordan. We need to remind ourselves of who we are. Again, ain't no future and no frontin'. I'm going to play that song right now by MC Breed, and I'm going to come back with a closing song, and we're going to conclude. But basically, we have a right to self-identify. I know that a whole lot of Africans and immigrants are upset about us talking about this. I think that FBA might end up having an issue eventually down the line, as you can hear in the beginning of this video, how already someone's writing articles on it being a hate video, a hate group, a cult, a violence-riddled propaganda now being gaslit onto FBA and Tariq Nasheed. I think that it's smarter just to self-declare your own identity as your own person with your own family to identify themselves and write to the Black Caucus, write to a district attorney, get it notarized, make copies, keep the originals, get it mail certified so that down the line when they try to mess with our identity, we all could collectively have something to say about it That's my opinion. There ain't no future and no front, and no. We are American. All these other adjectives and other names that we want to call ourselves, let's just please put that at the minimum on the side of us. American is the most potent word you can use in this situation. All other names that you say lessens your right and your claim to America, which everybody wants us to do, while they're assuming our identity as Americans themselves. You see how that works? We're being swapped out. We're being replaced by various immigrants, illegal and legal. While they use our name, they want us to go to Africa. They want us to leave America. They don't want us calling ourselves American. They want us to call ourselves anything but that. And most importantly, they would love you to call yourself African and Africanize you so that they can get closer to your wallet. That's what this is all about. Pan-Africans ain't shit. They don't care nothing about our survival and outcomes. They only care what they can get in the meanwhile. They're hirelings. They could not be trusted. And the people that we have in power now, such as Barbara Lee, Sheila Lee Jackson, Barbara Lee, and the other one, what's her other one's name? I can't remember her name. The other representative I said earlier, they have no qualms over ignoring us, bypassing us, and leaving us as is. I think that we should start targeting some of these people, but I don't have enough numbers right now. If I had the power, if I had the numbers, I definitely would suggest that we target certain people and rattle and shake them to the core. That's my opinion. Please like and share the video. Here's one of my songs, Ain't No Future and No Frontin'.
Sound good to me. Sound hard, sound funky, people gon' dance to. Give the record a second and a chance to. Hitting people like a scene of amazement. While they slipping back, my feet is planted in the pavement. Crying like a never do. So now I'm looking dead at you. What are you gonna do? You listen to the knowledge of a scholar. You say how I breathe, tell them how I holler. I'm the E-double, and I proclaim my name straight up. Good gang, peep saw game. I'm like a rhino, running through the roughest pack. They figure I'm a trigger happy nigga, so they step back. Breathe. The microphone is food glass alone, the news is strong. It ain't a game, it's plain to see. You listen to the sounds of breathe. There ain't a future in the front. I never got caught with a kilo, and if you ever do, yo, and never do with Leo. Serving in the Jackie, and maybe it's a Geo. Like I'm like Benzo, we'll get it up for Leo. Never have to worry about my posse getting shot. Cause if we ever do, yo, TV about to drunk. Cause we don't go for playing, wanna play the rapper ball. When I'm on the mic, I ain't for playing, not at all. Cause I clock 10 G's a week, booming at my peak. Always CE sober, but I do get geek. I can give you a job, a place to eat. Hard to meet your own boy Marty at a B.O.B. Party taking over, barking like a dog named Rover. I'm picking suckers like a 4-leaf clover. Everybody wearing some of the Michael Jackson's cobras. So now they saying they agree to get known. I'm the B, the R to the double E, and down with my homie G.A.S. and O.E. Suckers call me Barry cause they still be disagreeing. I don't give a cause I'm from Apple, I am free in the city where P runs slow. If you ever shoot through my city, now you know. Cause we a strictly business and we also got a pride. And if you don't like it, I suggest you break wide. Suckers study looking for the devil when he wired. Thinking that illegal is the best one, so they lying. I ain't got time to see a thing chain out. To give up all his money and he give up what he got. That's the way I am, and see, we cannot be different. Never change the ways for the world or the government. If I was the president, then I would state the facts. You leave it up to me, I paint the White House black and it go future in the front. I got dollars in my pocket, I can roll. If I was a fiend, then my gold would be stolen. Put my name breathe on everything I own. And when I get my cheap, I'm putting breed on the chrome. Shine it up good. through my neighborhood. Motorola phone, fat rims in a Kenwood. But to get around it, and then I'll have to drop it. Because the riding people think it's selling rocks, but they don't feature your True to the rules of the world. Live a life raw, cause I never liked the law. Top 10s on my ass, shoes, jeans. Selling your gay certificate to the fiends. Got much dollars, but I never break a sweat. Trying to move out, my boss saying, man, you got my back and I got yours. What time is it? Turn down the door. Let's start this party, all right?
You know, before I go, I want to read a little bit of what I wrote a few years ago, back in 2021, to give y'all an idea of what y'all could say as well. This letter was written to Dave Jost, who is the Attorney General. It also was given to the Black Caucus, to Sheila Lee or Jackson, whatever, Jackson Lee or Lee Jackson. I always get it confused. I'm going to read just like a page and a half just to give y'all an idea of what I did. But I said, Dear Attorney General Dave Jost, the majority of this letter was submitted to the Democratic Caucus, and I wanted you to understand what my complaint is about, also because I don't feel comfortable leaving it in the hands of the Democratic Caucus. I feel there has been gross neglect on the part of the caucus, leaving me ultimately perplexed on how to address or safeguard self and Indigenous Black Americans who aren't immigrants. It would appear to me that in the year 2022 has brought forth a deliberate disregard for Indigenous Black Americans to the point I feel compelled to write to you. So I did this in 2022, my bad, not 2021, 2022. Desperate times calls for desperate measures, which means, and I quote, actions that might seem extreme under normal circumstances are appropriate during adversity. Before I go forward, first, I would like to introduce myself with the usage of social media YouTuber name for Black Righteous Folks Home. Reason being, I intend to read and broadcast this letter on my channel as proof to writing you and this Congressional Black Caucus. I believe Americans should understand and understand how to sufficiently advocate and document correspondence to persons who hold office or post connected to White House or Congress. Can't even speak. That was wrong. What was I? At the end of this formal letter, I will submit name and address via certified mail as I stated on email sent December 11, 2021. A response can be received by this office as acknowledgement of receivement of the official letter to Sheila Lee and the Black Caucus. You're getting a version upgraded with more information. So I just want to state that fact. There were things I skipped out of rushing to send something out of alarm of the anxiety I now have with this country and its goals involving our democracy. I am glad to be able to share the contents of my concerns and alarms of the state of affairs involving persons trying to impose others' agendas onto Indigenous Black Americans for not a benefit at all for them. So when reading, keep in mind this was to first give the Black Caucus a chance to fix the failing of understanding on the persons I brought forth to complain. Thanks for your eyes, and hopefully a remedy or a lane is available to bar the imposement of my American rights and my desire to stay free as an American. Now, what has brought me to write and read on social media to you, Sheila Lee, is the proposed bill the Black Caucus is envisioning drafting with Ghana's President Addo. I heard from a YouTube clip on the platform at a forum recently declaring his glee about a bill enabling so-called African Americans and anyone in America called Black is African. Who says everyone in America labeled Black by American government that I am an African? I most certainly don't identify myself as an African, but Indigenous Black American. My father, Eddie, told me my family is of Cherokee heritage, so this African president is imposing his words, views, thoughts upon me without my consent. Moreover, while researching my father's side, I saw a white man in my family I'm trying to verify. So as far as I know, I have two heritages that is not African. So that just gives you an idea. I wrote a lot more, but there's a whole lot of stuff to read that goes further into my complaint about Ghana, this money and attention and focus on Africa and Ghana in particular was very upsetting to me back in 2021. This is when I wrote my Declaration of Identity and this complaint initially in 2021 to Sheila Jackson Lee of the Black Caucus, and then I updated the letter to the district attorney in 2022 is what I did. That just gives you an idea what you can do, that there are things that can be done. If we were doing it in mass number, I really feel that that would shake up the different offices. I really wish that a real person would come and do something about what I'm saying. And again, we could shake a lot of people up out of their thinking if we responded in numbers. But right now we're scatterbrained everywhere. Right now, people know that we are really weak right now with not having leadership. And so it's so easy to just gaslight us and accuse us of being Islamophobic and just do whatever you want to do. I want to play another song before I go. I hope that you guys appreciate what I said. Hold on, let me get this. Please like and share the video. I would greatly appreciate that. If you learned anything from what my videos are showcasing, please support. If you have an issue with what I say, for whatever reason, you can leave a comment and I will converse with you and talk and see what's going on and with your mind. Okay, Bobby Womack. Okay, Harry Hippie. Excellent. The letter's not over though. It's so long. 4 Rivers, GD. I wrote over 11 pages. It's very in-depth. One day, if you want, I will read it again. I did actually read it before. It's on my earlier, when I first started back up, I read it. But I said a lot. I went in. You said Bobby Womack, Daylight. Oh, you guys want to listen to Bobby Womack? Okay. Let me find For Black. Thank you so much for sharing this. Let's hope it inspires your listening audience to do the same. I hope so. You can always get mail certified whenever you send and submit a letter to whomever, and you keep the original and you get a mail certified so that you can get proof that they received it, and keep that in your file, and always keep the original in a file, a filing, we call it folder. But I submitted my identification declaration alongside of my complaint I had about what the Black Caucus has been doing and not doing, and how they're mobilizing to talk about Ghana and Africa and then forgetting about us and treating us like we're stepchildren. And I really went into deep detail about it, but it is so long. It would take me about 45 minutes to read it all. That's how long it is. Len says Frederick Douglass' wife Anna died in 1882, and he married again in 1884. All of his children are by his first Black wife. Oh, okay. So he didn't like cheat on her and leave her high and dry. So that at least he had integrity enough not to do that while she was living. So that's good to know. There's so much more that we can do. I hope that you guys would submit this video to other YouTubers who claim to be, indigenous, who claim to be FBA, who claim to be all these things. Because we have more power when we actually did something outside of YouTube. Right now, we're acting like children, like we don't know what worked the last time, what worked the first time. We're playing dumb. I forgot the name of Bobby Womack, what you wanted me to listen to. Okay, I forgot the name. Hold on, I gotta go back. Bobby Womack, though, I love that song, If You Think You're Lonely Now, but I played that song yesterday. Let's see. Hold on. Harry Hippie. I don't know if I know that song. Hold on. Harry Hippie. Harry Hippie. That sounds very interesting. I got to get one that's not copywritten, though. Hopefully I can find one and he's put lyrics down. Harry Hippie. Come on now, you can do it. Okay, here's one.
Everybody claims that they want the best things out of life. But not everyone wanna fall for the toils that's right. Like this particular fella walks around all day long singing, shine. Harry Hippie, life won't sleep in the shade. Life don't bug him, cause he thinks he's got it made. He never really done nothing in particular. Ooh, he might even sell free press on Sunset. I'd like to hear a man when he's down. But I can't help him much when he's sleeping on the ground. It's like a bottle of water, and just flow through life. Walks around all day long singing a song. Very hippie. She's on his way. Panhandles, pennies, just to feed Harry's baby. She can write on a story, so incredible. Man, you wanna help her take the food home and put it on the table. I like to help a man with his eyes. But I can't help you, Harry, if you wanna sleep on the ground. Sorry, Harry. Jah, tell me where will you be going? Oh, when it gets warm and starts blowing, will you hang around LA or get your ride on the freeway? Meet an old familiar face at a new place. I like to hit my man when he's down. But how can I help him if it's somewhere out of town? Sorry, Harry, think I'm gonna put you down. Everybody help me sing a song. Oh, yeah.
I have found a piece of what I wrote. I think that you might want to hear Lynn and everybody that's in the chat room still before I play the next song. You know, I really went in on this letter. I said, Sheila Jackson Lee, these bills or policies I'm referring to is the recent bogus Asian hate bill, gay rights bills, and immigration policies that have been constantly hammered through Congress to pass. What happened to Black American voices, justices, and reparations that was due 100 years ago? Remember the 40 acres and a mule for my people who suffered in America for generations? Millions of Black Americans don't want citizenship to another country, much less to Ghana. They're in Africa. Yet this is the proposed bill you have devised with smiles and high fives as if we were to be happy. Well, we are not. I am not. I am insulted, enraged, and believe you have drank some juice full of juju, perhaps. Did you bother to reach out to us to see what we want? No. Did you care? We've been suffering and constantly bypassed. No. How do you sleep comfortable at night? I'm hearing on social media that a potential bill is being drafted for reparations for next election, and that these bills include the Pan-African mindset, which is basically hijacking reparations from the actual bloodline of the indigenous Black America, who are multi-raced, not solely African. The lineage to Africa is not known for us indigenous Black Americans, which makes our American identity most important in the global sense. That's meaning and identity, however, is being dismantled with the influx of immigration over the past 50 years or so, making our identity snatched, which is a good reason to bring that up for talks for a needed redress to rename indigenous Black Americans to the name and not solely Black Americans or African Americans. Why? I feel it has to change is because foreign people, or foreign Black people rather, has their own identity. If they are sharing the terms given by this American government, my identity becomes mute and gone. All claims for reparations and identity is confused. Another thing I've noticed is with this term, African American or Black American immigrants are purposely using these terms to get cover if they are partakers in crime, stealing of identities, and fraud. It's preposterous to have an immigrant to have more than one option and cause indigenous Black Americans to carry the bulk of blame for stats of crime, etc. So I hope that point isn't glossed over because it's happening more and more. especially if the foreign immigrant seeks out identities as a way to make more money. It potentially endangers the real identity holder, the indigenous Black American, as a culprit to a crime she has not committed. It also allows for the fraudster Black immigrant to cover crime she did commit. It also allows for the fraudster Black immigrant, a cover to play two different people with the African American or Black American term. A recent case just occurred whereby a Jamaican immigrant, Winston Glenn, was recently caught killing a Burger King employee, a 19-year-old Crystal LeBrun Neves. He was luckily mentioned as a Jamaican immigrant. The reason being is because he used to work at the same Burger King where it's alleged he killed Crystal. Had he not worked there, he would have been referred as a Black man or an African American, putting all the crimes, feelings of disgust, hate on indigenous Black Americans. I feel like that is wrong to casually allow. And it makes me think of the propaganda to invite more hate towards indigenous Black Americans when it wouldn't even be our fault. But the immigrant, this is dangerous to keep alive and kicking, and that's why I've added this to my letter. Dave Johnston hopes to ask, what can I do to disallow this to keep happening? Because of the propaganda on social media, there's been this weird movement to try to claim indigenous Black Americans as African. There is a reason for this. I feel you ought to know, and thus more problems are attempting to be imposed onto indigenous Black Americans, which is absurd. It would appear to me that indigenous Black Americans, like Dr. Martin Luther King, is the permanent sacrificial lamb in everyone's mind, especially the Black Caucus and the Democratic Party. Let me explain what I mean. This portion, okay, so I wanted y'all to hear a little bit more of what I read. There's a whole lot more than that. I hope that you guys can appreciate what I've shared. What's up, TJ Noor? Thank you for coming through. Now I'm going to play one of my songs I already had, and then I'm going to wrap it up with the last song from Bobby Womack. I appreciate the selection. I don't even know the last song I just played. I didn't even know who that was. I never heard it before, but I'm glad that I was introduced to that song. Now, I don't know if you guys remember Peabo Bryson. He was really popular in the 80s and the 90s. But this song I really love by him is called If Ever You're in My Arms Again.
All came so easy, all the loving you gave me, the feelings we shared. And I still can remember how you touched me so gently. You told me you cared. We had a once in a lifetime, but I just couldn't see it until it was gone. Second once in a lifetime, maybe too much to ask, but I swear from now on, if ever you're in my arms again, this time I'll love you much better. If ever you're in my arms again, this time I'll hold you forever. This time will never end. I'm seeing clearly how I still need you near. I still love you so. There's something between us that won't ever leave us. There's no letting go. We had a once in a lifetime, but I just didn't know it till my life fell apart. A second once in a lifetime isn't too much to ask, 'cause I swear from the heart. If ever you're in my arms again, this time I'll love you much better. If ever you're in my arms again, this time I'll hold you forever. This time will never end. Never end. The best of romances, these are second chances. I'll get to you somehow, 'cause I promise now. If ever you're in my arms again, this time I'll love you much better. If ever you're in my arms again, this time I'll hold you forever. This time we'll never end. You're in my arms again. This time I'll love you much better. If ever you're in my arms again, this time I'll hold you forever. This time we'll never end. If ever you're in my arms again, this time I'll love you much better. If ever you're in my arms again, this time I'll hold you forever. This time we'll never
That song was the hit back in the day, y'all. Y'all know that. Now I'm looking for Daylight right now. I think I done found it. This is Bobby Womack to close out the live. I hope that this live was received in the right light. Indigenous Black Americans, we need to have our own identity so that we can forge forward, moving forward with more pride and confidence and a clear understanding of what's really going on in this world instead of being used up and abused like we are right now. I hope people will support me. If you have an issue with what I say, you can make a comment and I will converse back with you. Other than that, this is my truth. This is not hate speech. This is about trying to reveal what has been in front of our faces, but we are somehow confused and shook on what to do. And I really feel that FBA might be problematic moving forward. That's why you should self-declare your own identity.
Here I go again, here I go again, here I go again. Listen to me now. It's 5 o'clock a.m., but the party is still going strong. There's a conversation over in the corner. Big cats on the lawn. And the FM music is moving. Folks getting down in their stocking feet. Sleepy eyes are beaming from the window across the street. And it looks like they gonna catch me again. Gonna catch me again. I must be okay when I'm just getting in. real set on this started. Everyone else is in. Looks like daylight. Gonna catch me again. Gonna catch me again. Most people are getting up, but I'm just getting in. It's the only time when I get around. Don't catch me up again. Don't catch me up again. I believe that don't catch me up again. Don't catch me up again. I swear to myself, time and time again. But I feel like starting again. But I can stay.
What I will say, you guys, is I really appreciate everybody for listening. If y'all want me to read the whole entire letter, let me know in the comment section of the video, and what I'll do is I'll break down the letter, and in the meanwhile play music too, so it won't be so redundant and so long-winded. Maybe every half an hour I'll play a song, so I can read the whole thing. But I wrote that in 2021. I submitted it to the Black Caucus, and then I turned around and submitted in 2022 to the district attorney. I did get a letter of acknowledgement from the district attorney, and the Black Caucus did not say not one iota, but I certified and mailed the copy and my ID declaration as well. So it was a big package for them. And I did that to 3 different people, 2 people in the Black Caucus. I forgot the name of the other person I did it to. I submitted, I have the information in my folder, but I just don't have it in front of me right now. And the district attorney. So please like and share the video. Let me know in the comment section if you want to hear the completed letter. I will probably think to do another letter to Barbara Lee and to the mayor of LA, possibly. I'm thinking about it, or at least call and see what the hell is going on, or email, either or I might do. I hope that if I do it, that other people will also do the same. I know I don't have the numbers. I wish I did, but I do maybe can get maybe 20, 30 people to maybe do it. That would be awesome. I do desire to have more productivity and more activity this year, instead of just waiting on the wayside, waiting for something to happen to us, against us, and then us complain about it. To me, is not an option. I hope that you guys will think about that. What's up, Four Rivers? Yes, I like that song. I never heard that song before, so I'm really shocked about that song, Bright Light, or what was it called? I think Bright. It was called Daylight, rather, Lord. And Bright. It was called Daylight. That was by Bobby Womack. And the other song, If Ever You're in My Arms Again, was People Bryson. And the other song was also Bobby Womack, Hippie something. I don't remember that song as well. That was a really old song. But I really appreciate everybody's support. Please like and share the video, and bless up.